What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about the state of Fortnite and why I think the game is not dying. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below what you think of the state of Fortnite. So last week, Epic laid off 16% of their employees, and this kind of started this narrative that I was seeing everywhere. Not sure if this was really that popular. It was just my own kind of social media algorithms feeding it to me. But I did see a lot of people posting about this and a lot of content creators making videos kind of saying that oh, the game is over, Fortnite is going to die now. The only thing they care about is creative, and that's why they've laid off 16% of employees. And then kind of also painted Epic out to be super greedy, but the main point was that they're laying people off because they don't care about Battle Royale anymore, and the only thing they care about is creative. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. First of all, I just wanted to say that they gave these employees 6 months severance and benefits, and my audience tends to skew older than the general Fortnite audience. So I'm sure a lot of you are very well aware that that is a lot of severance and benefits. That time period is much longer than what you'll typically see with a lot of companies. And also, Epic is not just Fortnite. They're a very large company. Fortnite is probably one of their biggest projects, but they also make the Unreal Engine, and they own several other game studios. And two of those bigger studios or bigger games that kind of fall under the Epic umbrella are going to be Fall Guys and Rocket League. So they have people all over the place doing a bunch of different things. It's also marketing, lawyers, because they've been in a lot of cases recently. So them laying off 16% of employees does not mean that there's 16% less developers working on Fortnite. From what I heard, Fall Guys was actually the game that was impacted the most. And a lot of the Fortnite employees I saw that got laid off were marketing people, or some of the creator kind of people, the people that dealt with YouTubers and streamers. Seems like a lot of those people were hit, and also Save the World. There likely were some, Fortnite developers that were hit as well, but I think it's very disingenuous to paint this as there's 16% less developers working on Fortnite Battle Royale, and that means Epic doesn't care about Fortnite Battle Royale, and that they only care about creative. In an email that Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic, sent to Epic employees, they said that 2/3 of the layoffs were in teams outside core development. So this would mean that a little more than 5% of Epic employees that were laid off were, part of core development working on projects such as Fortnite. But even then, I don't know if all of that 5% is Fortnite, but you kind of get the picture that this is not the 20% that people make it out to be. If you had 100 employees working on something and got rid of 5%, that would be 5 people. You would still have 95 people working on it. And sure, that could affect things, but the idea that this is unsustainable and that everything is going to fall apart because they laid off these employees, I think is just not really true. In this email, Tim Sweeney also said that they've been making effects to reduce costs, including moving to net zero hiring and cutting operational spend on things like marketing and events. And a lot of players took this as there will be no more live events in Fortnite because of these layoffs. And this kind of contributed to that narrative once again that I was kind of saying, that a lot of people were painting the picture that Epic doesn't care about BR. BR is dying and they only care about creative. But like I said earlier, this email was sent from the CEO of Epic to Epic employees as far as the entire company of Epic Games is concerned. So when they say events, I don't think this just automatically means in-game live events inside of Fortnite. This is probably going to be, larger projects that deal with Epic as a whole. And I feel typically when you do see Epic refer to in-game live events, they call them in-game live events. And it's really just us, the community, that we see event and we think, okay, this is Fracture, this is Collision, this is the Black Hole event, where Epic usually calls them live events. And I think this mostly means in-person live events like the Celebrity Pro-Am they had in 2018 or the World Cup they had in 2019. These events were huge and likely cost a ridiculous amount of money to have these venues and have all these people here, not only the players, the celebrities in the case of the Pro-Am, but also all the camera people and staff working the event. I think things like that cost an exponential amount more money than an in-game live event in Fortnite. And then also, competitive as a whole, I feel could be probably viewed as one of these marketing expenses that they've really cut down on. In 2019, the competitive prize pool for the year was $100 million. That is $100 million that Epic gave out over the course of the year competitive tournaments. Like that was World Cup, that was like tournaments in game like the Cash Cups. They gave away $100 million that year. In 2023, the competitive prize pool for the year was 10 million. So that's a tenth of what it was in 2019. That is them cutting spending, I feel like. And it's possible that I'm wrong and that they meant Fortnite live events, but I think this is much more, again, because it's from the CEO of Epic to Epic employees, more big picture than just like in-game live events in Fortnite. And as far as marketing costs go, I think cutting back competitive was a huge case there. Winter Royale in 2019 was an event towards the end of the year. It took place over, I think, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, and there was like different cups every day. It was a 3-day event. There was $15 million giving out over that weekend. That is more in that one weekend than we got in the entirety of the 2023 year. So I think things like that are kind of what they mean by cutting back marketing expenses, and not necessarily just that there's going to be no events. And even at Unreal Fest, which is an event that they're doing, Epic did confirm that they are working on different live events, including narrative live events and concerts. So I 100% expect there to be a live event to end Chapter 4. And with Fortnite going to yearly chapters, it's also possible that I think maybe they just think having one a year fits best for yearly chapters. That makes more sense to me than them just thinking no more live events ever. If you're going to have yearly chapters, having one event a year might be the play. Obviously, I would love for there to be a live event every season, but you do run into some sort of fatigue when they have events constantly, and people kind of like to, forget about that. But after every single event, people complained about how lame it was. Fracture kind of takes the cake. Fracture was really bad. But I remember even after Collision, which was like in a lot of people's mind the last like real live event we got, even after that event, people were complaining about how underwhelming it is. So having the events be less frequent and kind of just be the end of the chapter might be the play for like keeping them hype and exciting and kind of building that, hype for the new chapter. And then as far as the idea that Fortnite isn't going to have any content going forward, at least in the immediate future, is not true. I think these next 2 months are probably going to be some of the best and most exciting time to be a Fortnite player ever. And in a few days, we have the Halloween update that's going to be on the 10th. And then after that, Season 4 is pretty much done. Season 4 ends November 3rd. So we're going to have the Halloween update. That's going to hopefully be exciting and bring a lot of hype to the game for like a week or two. And then once that has kind of died down, Season 4 is going to end. And then we have a month-long Season 5 that lasts from November to December. And then Chapter 5 early December. So within the next 2 months, we're going to have the end of Season 4, the entirety of Season 5, and the launch of Chapter 5, and hopefully, a live event to kind of go from Chapter 4 to Chapter 5. I would be incredibly surprised if there is no event, in between those two chapters, especially with how bad Fracture was. I expect this event to be very good, and that's probably why they've taken an entire year to make the event rather than kind of only having a few months to make one. And then there's also the racing mode that Epic has been working on that should be kind of launching in this time frame or maybe in Chapter 5. I personally don't really have any interest in the racing mode, but there's probably will be a lot of players that do. And then there's also the Lego collab that has been rumored and hinted at and clearly been something that's coming to the game, coming in that time. So racing mode, Lego collab, Chapter 5 launch, end of Chapter 4 event, Season 5 and end of Season 4 in Fortnite Mares all within the next 2 months. Potentially, I think is going to be the most crazy time to be a Fortnite player. Epic actually sent out an email to some partnered content creators and said that they have a lot of content planned for November and December, and that players will not run out of content at that time or during that time. And I think that's very much alluding to what I just said. You could make the argument, if you're one of the, people that think the game is dying, that these people just got laid off. So all this stuff that's coming was probably already worked on, and that's why it's done. And then after all that, there's not going to be any content. But I just really don't think that's the case. I like I said, it was a small percentage of people that could have affected Fortnite development with them being laid off. Unfortunately, things like this happen. Epic is not the first company to lay off employees. They're not going to be the last. I think you're going to see a lot of, gaming studios doing that in the near future. I mean, there was several before Fortnite. I think I've seen like a few after. It's just how things are currently. And I think Chapter 4 has been amazing. With all this stuff, I feel like people kind of looked back on Chapter 4 and it's like, yeah, this entire chapter has been terrible too. And I think Chapter 4 has been amazing. If I had to rank them right now, it would probably be my second favorite chapter behind chapter 1. You could say that's nostalgia, it's whatever. That's when I enjoyed the game the most, and that's when I had the most fun playing. But chapter 4 has been up there. The content added this chapter has been great. The holiday events, like the summer event, is what people point to as like, oh, chapter 4 is terrible because of this. I think it was a summer escape event. It was bad. It wasn't good. But overall, I think chapter 4 has been very good, with not only map changes and the map kind of developing over time, a lot of new exciting items like the shockwave hammer, the kinetic blade, and even just, those mini events we had at the end of seasons, like the most wanted event in chapter 4 season 1 might be one of the most like best times to be a Fortnite player ever. Hopefully they kind of continue that going forward and we continue to get, a lot of content in game. I don't think Fortnite is dying. The idea that Battle Royales are dying, I also just hard disagree with. That might have to be a different video for a different day because we're already 11 minutes into this one. But I very much disagree that Battle Royale as a genre is dying. And people kind of treat it differently than how any other game genre has been. There's been lots of trends and like kind of new genres that have come out with gaming, and the hype for them kind of dies. Like, let's take MOBAs for example. That genre seemed to be kind of popping off or getting a lot more attention in like the 2010 to 2016 timeframe. Maybe you don't see as many new MOBAs coming out. Like Smite is a game I think of as like a random MOBA that came out, and a lot of people, it didn't have as much hype as like League or Dota did. The genre doesn't seem to be as popular as it once was, but League and Dota are still going strong. They're still very successful, very popular games. If you played during like 2007 to like 2012, every game needed like a PvP multiplayer like Call of Duty. That trend isn't as necessary anymore, but Call of Duty is still going strong. It's not what it once was, but it's still, a successful, popular game for sure. And I think Battle Royales will kind of go the same way. The hype for the genre isn't there as much anymore. I don't think we're going to see as many new Battle Royales coming out, not as many forced Battle Royales as what seemed to be happening kind of 2017 onward. But I don't really think Warzone, Fortnite, or Apex are going to go anywhere. It's just that there's not going to be that rush to make the next big Battle Royale because the genre isn't as hype as it once was. So that's what I think. I don't think the genre of Battle Royale is just going to cease to exist and that every Battle Royale is going to die. I just think that we're not going to be getting as many new ones, but the ones that are here and are established and are successful are going to like keep getting updated and keep being successful. And I don't think Fortnite is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, if you guys enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.